Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Wednesday morning. We have a great show lined up. The local guys here talking about another fishing tournament coming up, but it's not king mackerel. We're talking about a brim fishing tournament coming up. That's going to be real exciting over here, real close by with all our friends down around the Weewall area, and everybody's invited to it. But we're going to get to it first after our weather. First is our weather, brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today only going to be 87. We're in a cool snap. Low pressure area, got to keep an eye on it. Really stormy out there. Well, low would be 77, so you only got a 10-degree variance right there. So water temperature dropped up to 86. We talked about 85 to 87. It's been like that now for a couple of weeks. So it's 86 today. Take a look at our tide chart. It's neat tides. Not much tide at all week long. It's been like this, and not a lot of things. But this wind is what's going to really affect the inshore fishermen. We're looking at a southwest at 12 to 15 coming out of the southwest. The tide chart was brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Okay, the river readings, Apalachicola is at a 2.2, and the Choctahatchee is at a 3.2. Both rivers are low. I don't have the chart, but both of them are really low. And we're going to have some changes coming up. We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow, okay? Let's go ahead and take our break. We'll be back with our special guest. Welcome back, and welcome to our guest, Jerry Prison. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Jerry, a Weewall fella, and welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Glad to be here.
Not only is a Weewall guy, I've known him a long time. He's done a lot of electrical work for me personally, some friends and all, and taught electricity at Haney for a good while.
8 years at Haney.
8 years, but now you retired.
I've been retired 2 years, and I enjoy every bit of it.
Well, what do you do all that retired time?
I actually do quite a bit of work still, mostly yard work and repairs around the house, catching up on things that was on the list to start with, and do a lot of fishing too, mostly catfishing, but do quite a bit of brim fishing also. Mm-hmm. But I like to do the catfishing. The little catfish, 6 to 8 inches long, that's what we like to eat best. That's a favorite. Actually set out a couple of little trot lines this year, and ran them 4 mornings. I had 16 catfish that weighed probably 100 pounds. Had some big catfish.
That's some big catfish.
Had about 45, 50 pounds of filleted fish put up in the freezer. Still eating on those. And enjoy it.
This is what we do. This is how we do it in Weewall, right? I mean, I love that area down there, and in fact, to get in a place at Howard Creek, and Jared's helped me on it a lot, and started talking to him the other day and said they're going to have a brim tournament coming up.
A brim tournament coming up. It will be August the 15th. That's a Saturday. The time will be from sunrise until 1 p.m. The brim tournament is actually a panfish. You can have more than brim. You got brim, shellcracker, oarmouth, and stump knocker. I think it's the 4. The one they're not going to allow is the crappie or crappie, whichever one you want to announce or pronounce it. The price to enter the contest is $25 for 1 person in a boat, $40 for 2 people in a boat. The most people allowed in a boat is 2. The largest 10 fish from each boat will be weighed. The winner with the most weight for the largest 10 fish will be a $500 prize.
Okay.
The second place winner will be $250. There is an optional big fish pot for $10. Whoever has the largest pan fish will receive the 100% of whatever the pot took in to start with. 100% payback.
That sounds good, Jerry. So they're taking the 10 biggest brim, or panfish.
10 biggest
brim.
brim.
You can mix them up. You have stump knocker and bluegill,
right.
all that stuff.
All that.
And then you're going to weigh them there. Now this is put on by the Search and Rescue group, right?
Search and Rescue Weewillhitchka. The Search and Rescue, they if there's someone in trouble on the river, sometimes we go get them. This past weekend, I think it was, had one with a broken down motor, made a call to search and rescue. Someone went and picked him up. We've only had, I think, 4 call outs this year. One, we had a man lost in the Howard Creek area. Got the word about 11 o'clock that morning that he was lost. About 9 o'clock that night we found him, got him out. He was actually in a slough somewhere, had ran aground, and the water was falling. Had to drag his boat probably 200 yards to get it back into water where he could go. And this man was in his middle 70s, so he was in trouble.
Yeah.
But it was a good rescue for that.
You know, we people go crazy over this reality TV shows and all these outdoor reality TV shows. This is real stuff here. I mean, y'all's fire and rescue is one of the most active in the area because y'all are called out pretty regularly. So you've been 4 times this year.
I think 4 times this year is all we have, and it has been a lot more in the past. But I think the cell phone technology with the GPS may be helping where people can actually go on and look, well, this is where I'm located, this is where I need to go.
But we have a problem because even down at my place, because you and I have experienced the same thing, we couldn't get that signal down there. And that's still all the technology, we still can't get all our signals, can we?
Okay, the man that was lost, his wife could call him with his cell phone, and she could get a word every now and then, because you can move 2 foot down there and you can talk to someone, or you might not be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
But I was actually able to piece enough information together to get an area that he was located. And then later on, we had some people that got close enough to him that they could actually talk with him a little better, and he described the place that he was at, and they just went right in and picked him up, knew exactly where he's at by describing a couple of trees in there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know you were telling me that story, and you know, if you grow up in that area, then you know those trees, you know those sloughs, and the guys were able to go right to them.
Went right to them, and
he was happy to see them, wasn't he?
We have 8 different teams that we actually have that go out and do the search and rescue part of it. The teams have a leader, and there's about 3 people to each team. I'm actually one of the leaders, and everyone that's a leader of the team has grown up in the area and knows the area pretty well. I'm more familiar with the area from the Weewahitchka area north. Dead Lakes, I know it real good. I've been on there since I was probably 5 years old. I've been going on the river by myself from 8 years old and fishing from daylight till dark, and actually caught catfish years ago and would sell them for a little bit of spending money during the time. But
that's a good background, Jared. We're going to take a quick break and come back with Jared Pridgeon here with the Gulf County or Weewah Search and Rescue. All right, welcome back. Here with my good friend Jared Pridgeon from Weewahitchka, native son from there, and we are glad to have you on the show talking about the first annual brim fishing tournament. And this is a big deal because put on by the Weewah Search and Rescue, and they do a lot of work down there. Don Minshew, we've been on the show several years back, and I know a lot of those guys are hard workers, and they do the catfish and all. Before we get to catfish, let's go over these rules now. Make sure everybody understands these rules, because we're going to have a lot of people enter, and that's August the 15th.
August 15th, sunrise till 1 p.m. Central Standard Time at Apalachicola River Gaskin Park in Weewah. The registration forms, you can pick the entry forms up at the Weewahitchka City Annex. For any contact information, Don Minshew, he is also at City Hall, which the number there is 639-2605. The entry fees can be or you can't enter the tournament the morning of the tournament that it starts. They will have someone at the place at Gaskin Park that you can go ahead and register and get going.
So you can,
from there.
If you're out of town and don't get it, you can just drive up there and register that morning?
Drive up there and register
okay.
that
All right.
morning.
All right, good.
Okay, the tournament officials shall be the judge on all of the final weigh-ins and everything like that. Safe boating is required. Caution and safety must be observed at all times. Each contestant must have a Coast Guard approved life jacket in addition to other required Coast Guard equipment in the boat. Your life jacket must be worn while the main motor is running. And sportsmanship is required. All contestants are expected to practice good sportsmanship, safety, courtesy, and conservation. Contestants may be disqualified due to an infraction of these rules and or principles. And all state and federal laws shall be obeyed at all times. Any legal means of catching brim per Florida law may be used to catch your fish. Any panfish, excluding crappie, may be used for your weigh-in. Weigh-in, all boats must be at the dock at Gaskin Park before 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, or your fish will not be weighed. Only 10 fish per boat will be weighed, and fish may not be swapped out once they are weighed. A lie detector may be administered. The Weewee Hitchcock Search and Rescue reserves the right to monitor applicants and participants. The Weewee Hitchcock Search and Rescue also reserve the sole and exclusive right to exclude any person or persons, regardless of the reason, from participating in the tournament.
Okay. Those are the basic rules, and these are basic rules in any fishing tournament. I always get a kick out of the lie detector because they every now and then, and these are big money tournaments. This is not one of the big money tournaments, but more important, this is a good cause tournament, and the good cause goes to the search and rescue, and that much, and y'all are able to award some scholarship money to kids, right?
Right, we give scholarships out to deserving students. Last year we gave out $3,000 worth of scholarships to deserving students, and all of those were from Gulf County. We actually do the fishing tournaments, we have bake sales, we do fish fries, we do a lot of stuff to raise our money, but it's for a good cause.
So y'all gonna have everything set up. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I may even try to fish it. If I don't fish it, if my motor's running, I'm gonna fish it. If not, I'm gonna certainly come to the weigh-in, and that's always fun going to the weigh-in, especially this one. These brim fishing tournaments are special. They just come along now, and that's a great place to have it too.
Right, it's a good place to have. It was last year, someone had one, I'm not sure who sponsored it, but there was over 250 boats that were entered into the brim fishing contest. Yeah. I actually was going fishing that day and changed my mind once I couldn't find a parking place after I'd launched my boat.
It'll be a crowd now. You get them down there early. Will you have any refreshments, anything like that? Anybody say anything about that? Or do you know
I have not heard anything about refreshments or things like that.
Somebody needs to set a little snow cone machine or something. That'd be a good idea.
That would be a good idea.
Because I've been to places like that. At that time of day, it's warm. Like I say, this money does go to good cause and everything, and we're going to give some tips. We're going to talk a few minutes, and we're going to come back, and Jerry, being a native son of that area, is going to give some tips on how you can catch the biggest panfish. So it won't be any family secrets. This will be general knowledge secrets and all. But before we get back into the brim fishing, let's talk a minute about the Catfish Classic also. Y'all do that too.
Right. This will be the 17th annual Curtis Anders Memorial Florida Catfish Classic Tournament 2015. The start time is Friday afternoon, September 25th at 4 p.m. The end time will be Saturday, September 26th at noon. And the website would be www.floridacatfishclassic.com if you want to look on that and look it up. It's at Apalachicola River, Gaskin Park in Weewee. Registration 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on 9/25. You can actually go to the Gaskin Park and registered there. I'm thinking that with this, you can go to Gaskin Park and register, and then go to another landing and put your boat in if you want to.
Okay.
That it's been that way before, and I think it's that way this year.
Yeah, yeah. And we're talking, we've talked about it. There's a series of the Catfish Classic. There's just a series of the Catfish Trail here in Florida. It's fascinating. Had it over Choctawhatchee River, the upper end, Apalachicola, Bluntstown, and Bristol, and Weewall, where they've done it a couple times here. So it's a series, and it's really, really interesting. Flathead catfish.
Flathead catfish. They also have a kids division, channel catfish.
Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's a month and a half. Well, we're certainly going to talk about this a lot more later on, but today we're really just concentrating on the brim fishing tournament because it's really exciting. On the brim fishing tournament, can they put in at a different landings, or have they all talked about that?
We have not talked about that yet.
Well, we'll find out.
We're having a meeting tomorrow night, and we will discuss all of this and get everything ironed out.
Okay, that's a good question. Let's take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Here with Jerry, but we're talking about all kind of fishing off the air now. But we're back. Let's go to our fishing game times today, brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Real Estate, and our times are from 4:15 to 6:15. Looking on the screen there, and also 4:42 to 6:42. Okay, I'm sorry, 5:35 to 7:35 tonight. Okay, and we're talking about how to get to the landing. But first of all, you were talking about what kind of bait can folks use again. We want to talk about that.
You can use worms, crickets, you can use artificial bait. My favorite is the fly fishing. I love to do that. A lot of times what people catch a lot of big brim on is the little beetle spin using ultralight. Most of the time you're not bothered with small fish when you use that. Most of the time you're catching big fish.
The beetle spin's been around a long time, and it's a good one.
It is very good. I've caught a lot of big fish on the beetle spin. We used to go up in Dead Lakes all the time and use the beetle spin up in that part of the area, and then they removed the dam from Dead Lakes, and the grass shrimp disappeared from up there, and
so that's what
fishing
happened.
is not as good as it used to be up there.
Now, how long you've lived in Weewall, like I say, a long time. What's some of the best memories you have of there growing up?
Fishing and hunting mostly. I love to hunt and I love to fish. It's a good place to live. It's not too big. Matter of fact, if we need anything, most of the time we have to come to Panama City to get it because there's not much stores and things in Weewall.
Speaking of stores, you live right across from the Dixie Dandy, right?
Right across from Dixie Dandy.
So every time you go down there, you pass his house over there. Next time you stop by and get a tomato sandwich or something, right?
I live right between the two lakes in town. Weewahichka is named after the two lakes, meaning water eyes. We got Lake Julia and Lake Alice, and I live on Lake Alice.
Are there any fish in those?
The largest bass I've ever caught came out of Lake Alice, right back of the house.
No kidding?
No kidding.
How big was it?
8.5 pounds.
Wow.
And
how long ago was that?
That was about 10 years ago.
Wow.
In Lake Julia, there was one man caught 2 bass one night on back-to-back throws. One weighed 14.5 and one weighed 13.5 pounds.
Are you serious?
On Jitterbug, caught them about 1 o'clock in the morning, but that's been 25 years ago.
On a jitterbug?
On a jitterbug.
That's cool. Okay, now let's talk about catfishing briefly also, because you do a lot of it. When you set at your trot lines and all, what do you like to use for bait?
Crawfish is the best to use that I've found. Go out and drag you a few crawfish and put them out late in the afternoon, go back the next morning, check them, and hopefully you got something.
That's your natural bait, isn't it?
That's their natural bait. They like them. You can also use soap in the wintertime because the water's cool enough and it does not melt very good, and they will eat soap. Cut bait of any kind. The fishing with rod and reels, I like to use either the earthworms or the red worms for that. You catch smaller fish using rods and reels, which are the better eating anyway. And fish on bottom with a heavy lead,
You try to get around the sandbars or the back end of the sandbars. What are some good areas you like to get in?
I fish clay banks sometimes. I fish sandbars sometimes. It seems to be that the channel cat are more at the end of the sandbars, on the lower end of the sandbars. We have a new cat that's in the river called a white cat, and I do not know where he came from. I caught one probably 4 or 5 years ago was the first one of those I've caught. And I thought he was a saltwater cat to start with. Someone said, no, that's a white cat. And I got to looking and I couldn't find anything on a white cat. But this year, there's information on a white cat.
Okay, so there is info out there. Are other people catching them too?
There's plenty of those. And
how do they taste?
they're not quite as good as the channel cat, but they're still good fish.
Okay.
If you did not know the difference, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference in them. But
okay. All right, now real quick on fly fishing. Got about a minute left on fly fishing. What time of year is your favorite fly fishing time?
right now would probably be the best time of fly fishing. The actual pecan worms right now are falling. They've been falling for about a week. They should be over with in maybe a week or two. But the fish will gather up when they start falling, and you can catch the fish on those. I've actually caught fish on the pecan worms actually in October. The only fly I had, my line broke when I went to set the hook, so I didn't have another fly in my tackle box, so I actually took a cork out, cut the end off it, and put me a long shank hook through that, and I caught 20 fish on the cork with the hook. So when they're biting, they'll bite anything.
You got to come back on and tell some more stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Brim Fishing Tournament, August 15th. Weewall Search and Rescue at the end of the road landing. Okay. Again, thanks, Jared. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You be sure and do something good for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.